You didn't decide you were hard to love. You learned it. Not in one moment. Not all at once. But slowly. In ways that were easy to miss at the time. You might recognize this. Saying, "It's fine." Even when something in you knows it isn't. Letting something go. Not because it didn't matter, but because addressing it felt heavier. Telling yourself, "It's not a big deal," when it actually was. And over time, you got used to that. Not asking for too much. Not needing too much. Not expecting too much. You adjusted. You made things easier. You made yourself easier. There's someone, let's call her Amina. Amina didn't sit down one day and decide, "I'm going to expect less." It happened through experience. Small moments. Repeated patterns. Things that didn't land the way they should have. She expressed something once, and it was brushed off. She needed reassurance, and didn't receive it in the way she hoped. She gave her time, her attention, her care, and it wasn't matched. Not always dramatically. That's what made it harder to see. Just enough to feel it. And after a while, something in her adapted. Not consciously. Quietly. She started telling herself, "I don't need that. I'm fine on my own. I can handle it." And she could. She became independent. Capable. Self-contained. She didn't ask for reassurance. Didn't express everything she felt. Didn't rely too much on anyone. And from the outside, it looked like strength. Most people would describe her as low maintenance. Easy to be with. Doesn't ask for much. But internally, something else was happening. Because when you stop expecting, you also stop receiving. Not because it's not available, but because you no longer reach for it. And this is usually where the shift begins. In relationships. In moments of connection. in quiet situations where something deeper is needed. You might notice it like this. You're with someone. They do the basics. They show up. They're present. But something feels slightly off. Not wrong enough to leave. But not right enough to feel settled. And instead of asking for more, you adjust again. You tell yourself, this is enough. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe this is just how relationships are. And this is the part most people don't realize. You are not choosing what feels right. You are choosing what feels familiar. Familiar means not expecting too much. Familiar means not asking for too much. Familiar means staying within what you've learned to tolerate. And over time, that becomes your normal. Until one day, a quiet thought appears. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Or even, maybe I'm just hard to love. And that thought feels real. Not because it's true, but because it's been reinforced through experience. I've noticed this pattern a lot. People don't usually question what they've adapted to. They question themselves. Why do I need more? Why can't I just be okay with this? Why does this bother me? But the better question is, what if this actually isn't enough for me? If this feels familiar, you are not alone. And this is important to understand clearly. You are not hard to love. You just learned not to expect to be loved fully. Because expecting more once led to disappointment. So you adjusted. Not because something was wrong with you, but because it protected you. And that protection made sense. It helped you stay steady. It helped you avoid being let down. It helped you maintain control. But now, it may feel like something is missing. Not because you need too much, but because you learned to accept too little. This is the in-between phase. Not who you were before. Not yet who you're becoming. You are starting to notice things, starting to feel where something doesn't sit right, starting to question what you once accepted. And that can feel uncomfortable. Because now, you can see it. But you may not yet feel fully ready to change it. Take a slow breath for a moment. In, gently, and out, slowly. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to suddenly demand everything. You don't need to become someone completely different. You can begin with something smaller. Noticing what feels like enough and what doesn't. Where you are adjusting yourself to maintain something that already feels limited. Where you are quiet when you actually want to speak. Where you are accepting when you actually want more. Because your needs were never the problem. They were just unmet. And over time, unmet needs can start to feel like unreasonable ones. But they're not. There is nothing wrong with how you need to be loved. There is nothing excessive about wanting consistency, care, effort. There is nothing difficult about wanting to feel chosen. You are not difficult. You were just taught not to expect more. And slowly, you are learning that you can.